Hello, Professor. Welcome to my presentation of English 102. This is a presentation for the research paper. Well, first of all, I would like to start the first minute of the presentation by justifying my research. I'm going to talk a little about why I came up with this topic. The topic is hierarchies in business structures. So the question that I come up with was or is if hierarchies in business are still relevant or they are obsolete. So throughout a little research, I was able to identify the two sides of the debate. I'm going to explain a little more about that later. And of course, what is my position on this topic, if hierarchies in business structures are still relevant or are they obsolete? So how did I come up with this question? I remember in English 101, we did some research about a paper of business communication, right? How the communication affects the success of the company, how the information flows up and down, and how organograms are made in order for this communication to flow properly. So it was an interesting topic for myself. I decided to do a little research about this business topic, but now applied to hierarchies in business structures. Are they relevant or obsolete? So here are some of the things that I'm going to talk about during the presentation. First of all, I'm going to take a few seconds to define hierarchy and how it works, how hierarchy is used in business structures, some examples of hierarchies in social life, arguments and rebuttals, conclusion and references at the end, of course. So we're going to start by explaining a little what hierarchy is. How does it work in an organization structure? So a structured organization that has an internal focus and values stability and control over flexibility. What does it mean? It means that when there's a hierarchy, there's obviously someone that it's in the top of the pyramid, just like we can see on the picture of the slide. There's always someone that will do the orders, and then that order will follow the chain of command. A formalized structure work environment aimed at achieving effectiveness through a variety of mechanisms that follow a chain of command. So in any situation, we're going to see some examples on how this is applied on society. Also, hierarchy is a concept that has been going on for many years in societies, but recently it has been studied as an organizational structure in business, and some people have challenged the way that hierarchy works due to what the word exactly means. We're going to discuss that a little later as well. So here are some examples of hierarchies in social life. As I mentioned, it's something that has been going on for many, many years. Hierarchy plays a crucial role in the creations of society, organizations, and business models. Many communities in which we live and work are organized hierarchically. That means there's someone in top of the pyramid, and then everybody will follow. For example, the armed forces, the government, everybody chooses a leader, everybody follows. E-commerce, and of course, churches, which is also a way of implementing hierarchies in social life. When it comes to the arguments and rebuttals, throughout the research, I found out that with the search of new business and new business structures that operate globally on websites, these companies tend to have a smaller amount of employees. So they're challenging the way that traditional hierarchies work, and they're coming up with new models that are flat or new models that everybody takes decisions. And this situation come up with this debate on where either they are relevant or obsolete. So some of the arguments that I found are that hierarchies in business are obsolete. They create isolation, they reduce cooperation, and promotes individualism. On the contrary, they also maintain a workflow in crisis and decision making and problem solving situations. What that means? There are people that will think that they don't work anymore, that they should not be implemented in business operations or systems anymore. I personally think that whenever there's a workflow and whenever that communication flows that way up and down, there's obviously a lot more advantages that we can take from that. In crisis and decision making, well, every employee will be able to know what they're supposed to do in each department, and it will maintain that workflow in order to take decisions and solve problems. Another thing is the centralization of power and authority. This word is usually associated with power, authority, and well, even corruption when it comes to democracy or in politics. It's not very well seen in Western culture, while in Asian cultures is a little more embedded in, well, not only socially, but also in the workplaces. So centralization of power and authority. On the contrary, I personally think that coordinate efforts and improve operations systematically. Again, whenever there is a boss, we'll take a decision, then everybody will know what to do, and everybody will coordinate those efforts in order to improve the operations. On the last paragraph of my paper, I also wrote that, well, some of the arguments that people will think that it creates bureaucracy and slow down decisions. The bigger the company, the more people will be able to take decisions on a higher position as CEOs, and then it will take longer for people to take action. On the contrary, I believe that a clear lines of communication, everybody knows their role, everybody knows who to report, and at that smaller scale, people will be able to resolve small problems in order to get to solve bigger problems together. It also establishes a relationship between work lines. That means everybody in different departments will be connected to the bigger decisions of the company. So these are some of the arguments and rebuttals that I wrote on my paper. And well, the conclusion, I believe that they are necessary to build the business structure. They also enhance communication in organizations and represent a crucial role in modeling a framework. Following a traditional corporate structure by keeping things organized and having a transparent chain of command, which is really important these days. Companies are switching to have more transparency when it comes to their organigrams and when it comes to their workflow. So it will definitely contribute to coordinate efforts that will enable the whole organization to reach their common goals and succeed in the business management process. So are hierarchies in business structures still relevant? Yes, they are. We use them every day in daily life in communities and societies. And in my own point of view, they are still relevant and necessary in business management processes. That'll be all for my presentation. Thank you so much.